Rift, Skyrim, 4th Era, Year 195. A vile and notorious skooma kingpin is dead. A power vacuum is now up for grabs in the Rift. A power vacuum that tends to keep the skooma operations at Redwater Den flowing. For this power vacuum can only be filled by the Rift's most powerful and influential resident. A title that can only be bared by Maven Blackbriar.
So who's this broad?
Quiet, Ooman. That's Maven Blackbriar, and your new employer.
So this was Gato's legacy. A bunch of skooma-thriving vampires and bandits mixed in with a costly alchemy lab that requires an even larger workforce to operate. I must say, I'm not impressed. Not one bit. You there, in the cloak. Where do I know you from?
I'm the cook, my lady, otherwise known as Dragos. I used to work with your late husband back in the day before his untimely demise. I was also one of Gato's master alchemists that helped create the new red skooma as well.
Is that right?
Yes, my lady. But if I may ask, what do you plan to do with this lab?
I haven't decided yet. Why is that any of your concern?
Because with the right people, I can get the skooma operations flowing again. And I ain't talking about the cheap stuff neither. I'm talking about the most potent and powerful skooma that is as good as Gato's red formula. I know this because he needed the spring water that dwells from the old ruins here. And it just so happens that I created my own concoction that hits just as good as the one from here. All I ask is for a chance to continue the work, my lady. I'll get these boilers cooking in no time.
Most of Gato's crew have fled after the attack. Plus, this operation required a great deal of manpower that I refused to spend a further septim on. So how exactly do you plan to make this profitable?
Gato relied on prostitutes and whores for his labor force. A risky gamble, if I may say so. But it just so happens I know a guy in the Velothi Mountains not far from here that will be willing to help with the labor force as long as he's cut in on the deal. You let my crew handle things from here, and I'll make sure you get your cut, my lady. Guaranteed.
Very well, Dragos. You will report directly to me. Is that understood?
Absolutely, my lady.
Good. Because there can be no mistakes. Nor can there be any leads tied to me or anyone with the Blackbriar name. Are we clear?
Of course, Lady Blackbriar. It will be done as you asked.
You hear that, mate? Looks like we're back in the game. I told you he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Just let me try the new skooma already.
Don't worry about that. You'll get it soon enough, mate.
I'll also stick around and keep an eye on things, Mother. With an investment this big, it will be best to make sure we keep tabs on how they operate.
You'll do no such thing. You are to manage the supply and inventory at the old warehouse only. You will not set one foot here any further. Is that understood?
But Mother, I can do so much more if you...
I said, is this understood?
Yes, Mother. Loud and clear.
You'll have 1 week to have the first batch ready. Don't disappoint me, or else there will be consequences.
Don't you worry, Lady Blackbriar. My crew will get to work right away.
And so, Maven Blackbriar inherits a former rival's skooma operation. One that intends to deepen the coin purse of the Blackbriars even further. For it would appear that there is no limit to the corruption and villainy that thrives here in the Rift. But as fate would have it, there would soon be a soul that would combat the vile and wicked ways of the Rift. one who was brought to Riften in the most strangest of ways. For it would now appear that this brave soul may be the answer that the Rift needs desperately. And so we follow the story of Mjoll the Lioness.
Where? Where am I? What is this place?
Ah, you're finally awake, my lady. I am Father Erandur, and you've been brought to the Temple of Mara here in Riften. Our Thane says he found you wounded outside in the cold in Hjalmarch, barely clinging on to life. He then brought you here where I was further able to treat your injuries. That was 1 week ago, my lady. You've been out since then. How's your pain?
It's not too bad. You have my thanks, Father Erandur. Was any of my gear recovered?
I'm afraid not, my lady. Just the ring on your finger and an amulet you were wearing. Your armor took quite a thrashing. It's amazing that you even survived. You'll need to get it repaired if you wish to use it again. Please feel free to stay as long as you'd like. Your body isn't quite ready for travel just yet, my lady.
Thank you, Father Erandur. I owe you and this Thane my life, and I return to repay what I owe. You have my word.
You need not worry about repaying us, my lady. Lady Mara teaches us to pay our compassion forward, to continue to help those who need our help. But unfortunately, Riften isn't well known for its compassion and sincerity. Quite the opposite, in fact.
Is that right, Father? Tell me more.
I know I shouldn't be saying this, my lady, but I try my best to look out for as many citizens as I can. Perhaps there was a time when Riften wasn't a cesspool of the wicked and the corrupted, but that time was long before I ever came here. If I were you, I'd leave this place the moment you are able to, because this city may be far beyond saving. Even with this Temple of Mara, we are still overshadowed by the sinfulness of Riften.
Then this is the work of the gods. For it just so happens that I specialize in helping those who need help, especially against those who wish to exploit the innocent and bring harm to others. If Riften has a corruption problem, I'll see to it that it is rooted out.
I'm sorry, my lady, but that would be a very bad idea. I've already seen those who I care about fall victim to the ways of this city, and I do not wish to be the cause of harm to anyone else.
I am sorry, Father, but I can't turn away knowing that those who are in need of help are being preyed upon.
Well, if you are this determined, then I can't change your mind. May Lady Mara be with you and keep you safe.
Thank you, Father.
By the way, I didn't catch your name.
It's Mjoll. Mjoll the Lioness.
Mjoll retrieves her broken armor as she expresses her eagerness to explore her new surroundings here in Riften. For Mjoll had traveled to many cities across Tamriel, but she has never ventured into the holds of eastern Skyrim as she prepares to get a taste of what Riften has to offer. A rather quite unfortunate experience.
Look at that fresh meat. Hope to see you at the brothel someday.
These guards are utter pigs.
But the delightful commentary of the Riften guards was only the beginning, as Mjoll begins to survey her surroundings, seeing for herself what injustices occur on a daily basis.
Oh, come on, Grillad. It's my birthday today. I thought I was getting a birthday surprise.
Surprise, you half-breed elf! You want some birthday advice? Stay out of the rat ways. Unless you want to turn out as a whore like the others. Either that, or find a gang of bandits to join so that you can add to the plundering filth that resides here. Doesn't matter to me. Once you're of age, it's time to go. So long, you little brat.
The nerve of that elder.
Oh, come now, Grelad. Give me a little more credit than that. At least give me that dagger on your hip to have a fighting chance. Otherwise, I'd have to resort to pickpocketing down in the Ratways. It's much easier if you at least have some type of blade on you. A woman can never be too safe here in Riften.
Ha! You'd make for a lousy thief. Now scram before I call the guards for trespassing, you half-breed gooner.
I'll take that. Thanks for the dagger, Grelad. Time to find my own path and begin my life.
How can they throw a child into this city like that? Is there no shame to their actions? That orphanage director needs to be taught a lesson.
As Mjoll begins to witness the many injustices of Riften, she begins to realize that there is much going on in this hold that will require her attention. For it would appear that the gods have steered her here for a reason. A reason that may require to get her armor repaired as she now heads towards the city's blacksmith.
Greetings, my lady. Come to see Balimund perform miracles with steel. Hey.
Greetings, Balimund. I was wondering if I could use your forge to repair some armor of mine. I don't have much coin on me at the moment, but as soon as I knock out a few bounties in this city, I intend to pay you back for your time. I intend to clean up some of the corruption that runs rampant in this city, and hopefully ease the stress of the citizens here.
Wow, that's very bold of you, my lady. Believe me, this place needs it. I tell you what, you stay true to your word, and I'll lend you supplies at no cost. But please, be careful. A lot of people tend to disappear around here for thinking they can make a difference. Just don't cross the Blackbriars and you'll do fine.
Thank you, Balimund, but I aim to stay true to my word. If these Blackbriars are the source of the corruption, rest assured that they will be brought to justice or die trying.
Well, hopefully. It won't come down to that, my lady.
We'll see soon enough. I'll come by later to get my armor repaired. Thank you for your time, Balimund.
And so, Mjoll begins to get a feel of the city as she walks through the markets, observing the citizens in their natural environment as she stays alert, looking for any suspicious activity that may unfold in front of her. But as she finds herself at the missive boards, she sees for herself the scope of the problems of this hold.
I've never seen so many requests and bounties go untouched. Some of these are years old. It's almost as if the people are afraid to ask for help. But there must be more to it than that. And I'm going to find out what that is.
But as Mjoll looked on, little did she know that her secret admirer was already prying his eyes upon her from a distance. For Thane Erin is now aware that his prize from Stonehills is now awake. But the Thane immediately holds his advance and thinks of the many ways he should introduce himself, as he vows not to make the same mistake as before. Mistakes that have proven to be fatal. As Mjoll begins to familiarize herself with the city, she retrieves her old armor and begins making repairs with the help of Balimund, as he lends her materials and weapons for her new objective. The objective of cleaning up this foul city.
I'm impressed with how much you're able to improve the quality of iron, friend. Your forge is truly a great asset in this city. This sword will do just fine. I promise to pay you back for materials and time the moment I'm able to, Balimund.
Smithing's been in my blood for generations. I owe my success to my forefathers and their recipe for flame. The secret is my forge. It consumes fire salts, a strange mineral that burns as hot as red mountain lava.
This is quite an impressive feat. I am familiar with red mountain lava myself, actually.
Well, it was. Sadly, this forge is dying, and I've used the last of my fire salts. If I can't feed it soon, it may grow cold.
Then I will make it my priority to ensure that your stock of fire salts are replenished. If I come across some fire atronachs in my travels, I will retrieve some fire salts for you, Balimund. I give you my word.
You will. Thank you so much. But you focus on staying alive. I'd hate to be responsible for your death, my friend. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, Balimund. I will return when I'm able to.
Mjoll finally begins her conquest to clean up Riften, as she departs the city with a few bounties in mind. For Mjoll knows that she will need to get a good lay of the land if she is to become successful. And it wouldn't be long before Mjoll stumbled into danger on her own, especially here in the Rift.
You picked a bad time to get lost, friend.
These vermin, I think their numbers can use a little thinning. Looks like I'll be in the Rift for a while.
And so, Mjoll would soon learn that she has her work cut out for her as she returns to Riften to retrieve her first bounty. The first of many bounties to claim.
That is incredible work. It's been a long time since someone took it upon themselves to take up a bounty here.
She is a very brave citizen indeed. Make sure she is rewarded for her efforts.
Thank you, my lady. I plan to root out all the filth I come across here in the Rift. And if I can continue to help those in need by slaying these filthy scum that prey upon the innocent, then I will continue to do so.
I wish Riften had more citizens like you, Mjoll. Be safe out there. Here's your payment.
And within one day of being active, Mjoll begins to make her mark upon the Rift. The evening sets in as Mjoll makes her way to Riften's most prized tavern for some food and rest, the Bee and Barb. And as Mjoll looked around, she saw the many wandering eyes that fell upon her, a feeling that she is used to when entering a new city. But it just so happens that one particular set of eyes wish to have words with Riften's newest resident.
You recover pretty quickly, my lady. On your feet for a day and already making a name for yourself. It's quite impressive, if I may say so myself.
Then I must say that you are easily impressed if killing a few pests catches the attention of a few citizens. And that's only one bounty. You should see how many I have planned for tomorrow.
Hardened and determined. A pair you don't see often these days. The name's Aaron. Thane Aaron of Riften.
Pleased to meet you, Thane. I'm Mjoll the Lioness. Wait a moment. You wouldn't be the Thane who rescued me from certain death now, would you? Because if so, then I owe you and the priest my life. You have my utmost thanks, friend.
No need to thank me. I was only doing what any concerned citizen would do.
Please, friend, allow me to get you a drink. That's the least I can do.
Please allow me. No lady should ever pay for a gentleman's drink.
Imperials are always blessed with their honeyed words. And I must say, I don't see many Imperials on this side of Skyrim, let alone one that is a Thane of a hold. So how did that come to be, if I may ask?
That's a fair question. After all, Skyrim belongs to the Nords, or so they say. I actually came to the Rift about a year ago. Former Legionnaire, you see. I thought my skills could be put to use here. So I did just that. Worked my way up alongside these Nords, and I was eventually recognized by the Riften court. It wasn't long until I was made a Thane of the Hold. And so, here I am. But I have a more pending question for you, my lady. Perhaps the most important one of them all.
And what might that be, Thane?
What happened to you out there in Yalmarch, my lady? It's not every day you come across someone clinging to life in this cold land for days and manages to survive to tell about it. I'm sure it must be a grand tale.
Well, it wasn't my proudest moment, I can tell you that. But I was investigating bandit activity in the Dwemer ruins of Mjoll, and my adventuring side got the better of me. You see, I've been adventuring across Tamriel since I was a fresh-faced young woman, barely able to swing a blade. My travels have taken me from High Rock to Valenwood, elsewhere to Morrowind, and all points in between. But it was in Mjoll that I suffered my greatest defeat. It was in those ruins that I came across that monstrosity, a Dwemer abomination construct, one that exceeds anything I've ever seen before. And believe me, I've seen my fair share of Dwemer ruins across Tamriel. But this one was different. I fought that thing with all my might. But I was no match against that mechanical beast. I barely survived. But my defeat wasn't the worst of my shame.
Worst of your shame? What do you mean? What you fought took courage, I'm sure. How could such an act bring you shame?
Because of what I lost. Grim Server, my sword, a possession that I held dear to me, a sword that awoken my prowess when I was a young teen, a sword that has ventured with me across all my travels in Tamriel, a sword that now lays at the bottom of Mjoll along with the Dwemer abomination. Without it, I feel as helpless as a newborn in the wild. It truly was a magnificent sword to me.
Swords can be replaced, Mjoll. Lives cannot. Perhaps the gods are trying to tell you something.
Perhaps. Maybe I'm wasting my life away seeking adventure. But I only seek adventure to help those in need. That is my real passion.
That is an interesting profession. If I may ask, can you tell me more about this passion of yours? I rarely meet those who are motivated about helping others, especially on this side of Skyrim.
Well, it's been the only profession that I've been good at. You see, I lost my parents and brother to a bandit attack when I was just a young teenager. I survived, and I eventually sought them out and took my revenge. But it wasn't enough. I wanted to ensure that the tragic event that I endured would never happen to anyone else ever again. So I wandered around Skyrim, assisting those who needed help the most. And over the years, I found myself all across Tamriel doing just that.
Incredible. You are literally the embodiment of Stendarr himself. A noble and righteous patron of all law-abiding citizens. One who brings justice to wherever they go. Riften is honored to have you here in our city, my lady. I already see you doing great things in the Hold.
Thank you, Thane Erin, for it would appear that the gods may have guided me for that very reason. I've come to learn that the Rift is a breeding ground for the wicked and the vile. And it just so happens that dealing with the wicked and sorting out the vile is my specialty. I plan to turn this city around. And with your help, I think we can make that happen. So, what do you say, Thane? Care to further help my cause and root out the corruption that resides here with me?
Absolutely, my lady. You have no idea how much I'm looking forward to this partnership of ours. Here's for better days.
To better days.
And so, it would appear that Mjoll is already beginning to make friends in Riften. But her good-natured heart may get the better of her in a hold like this. Especially when they're wandering eyes that tend to take notice of new citizens with ambitious plans. As the night sets in, Mjoll would decide to use a new bathhouse before retiring for the evening. a new establishment that was recently opened up by the Blackbriars. But as Mjoll turned heads in the new bathhouse, it would appear that she caught the attention again of her newest acquainted ally. For it would appear that Thane Aaron would now have another reason to pursue his newest guest.
By Debella's mark, she is blessed beyond words.
Mjoll does what she does best and keeps to herself as she pays the gazing eyes no attention, going about her business as she knows she has much to learn about this city, especially the dangers of this city.
Lady Mjoll.
Thane Aaron.
It appears we meet again, my lady.
It appears so, Thane. A popular spot, I take it.
It's actually a new establishment, paid for by the coin of the Blackbriars. There are a few other places of interest that I would be happy to show you if you are interested, my lady. All you have to do is say the word, and I'll see to it myself.
I appreciate the offer, Thane, but I'm more curious about the Blackbriars. What can you tell me about them?
Of course. I should have mentioned them when we spoke earlier, my lady. Forgive me. You see, they are the most popular and influential residents of all the Rift. They own the meadery and other well-known establishments across the hold. And at the head of the family is Maven Blackbriar. She is a member of the Riften court, and also an advisor to Jarl Layla Lawgiver. She's quite a busy woman, as you can imagine.
Sounds like a powerful woman. If I may ask, how do the local folks feel about this Maven Blackbriar?
Well, that could be a tricky response. It all depends on who you ask.
What about you? How do you feel about Maven Blackbriar?
Most citizens seem to think of her as a harsh employer to work for because she employs so many in the city. Of course, because she employs so many, citizens tend to start and spread rumors. And I don't tend to believe rumors. It is because of Maven Blackbriar that I am a Thane. She recognized my hard work as a guard that she made the recommendation herself.
Sounds like quite the lady. I look forward to meeting her someday. Well, Thane Aaron, it's getting late and I have a busy day ahead of me tomorrow.
I understand, Lady Mjoll. Please don't forget about my offer. I really would like to show you more around Riften.
I'll keep that in mind, Thane. Have a good night.
Good night, Lady Mjoll.
And so, Mjoll retires for the evening as she gets an inside view about the Blackbriar, keeping her opinions to herself while learning more about Riften at the same time. But the same can't be said for Thane Aaron, as it becomes obvious that he has other intentions. But for now, he will keep those thoughts to himself. Nighttime sets in as Mjoll gets comfy in her room, her thoughts heavy with anticipation for tomorrow's day, hoping that she will be able to deliver her word to the people of Riften. And with that thought, she is able to close her eyes for the night. The new day dawns while Mjoll begins her day bright and early, as she looks at the many unanswered bounty requests on a missive board.
Ah, bandits in old fortresses again. Guess I will start with the easy ones and work my way up from there.
And as Mjoll prepared for her day, it would appear that certain individuals of the Rift wish to keep eyes on Riften's newest resident. The misleading and twisted kind of individuals. And as expected, she makes quick work of the bandit, leaving a strong impression of who she is as the tales of her accomplishments begins to spread. And thus capitalize on her victory.
On behalf of the Rift, please accept this payment as a token of our appreciation and service to the folks of Riften. We wish we had more like you around.
The honor is mine, my grace. I aim to do as much as I can.
Such high spirits and confidence. I like this one. Wouldn't you agree too, Lady Blackbriar?
Yes, she appears to be very resourceful. I'm sorry, what did you say your name was again?
Mjoll the Lioness. Pleased to finally meet you, Lady Blackbriar. I've heard a great deal about you. And with your help, I'm sure we can turn Riften's reputation around and bring an end to the injustices that plagues these lands.
Maybe we can, Lady Mjoll. Who knows what we can accomplish if we work together. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other obligations to attend to.
Of course, my lady.
Even after meeting Maven Blackbriar, Mjoll kept her word and stayed busy throughout the day, knocking out whatever bounty she could to stay busy, regardless where it took her in the rift, as she continued to help those who were in distress.
My family is everything to me. Clear the fort, and on top of the posted reward, you can have whatever items you'd like.
I require no reward. I'll take care of these bandits free of charge.
A rare breed indeed. May the gods watch over you, friend. Be safe.
And so, Mjoll does what she does best, and made short work of any bandits and marauders who comes across her blade. For Mjoll hadn't been this dedicated to help a hold like this in a long time, even without her flagship sword of Grimzel, proving that she can still be effective without it.
The fort is yours. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, traveler. Thank you.
And so, Mjoll continued her venture throughout the rift, as she continued offering her aid to the less fortunate.
No promises, but I'll do what I can to find him.
Thanks, lady. I miss my dad.
Good. If you see him, tell him Grosta said he can go straight to Oblivion. He's not welcome here anymore.
Regardless of where her journey would take her in the rift, Mjoll would stay true to herself and to her word. But unfortunately, Mjoll also knew that she couldn't save everyone she helped, as she comes across a slain victim. For this slain husband reminded Mjoll that the world can be an evil place, and that monsters can come in all shapes and sizes. But Mjoll had a duty to do, regardless of the results.
I am sorry, Grosta, but your husband did not survive. You have my condolences. No, it can't be. Oh my. And all this time I was thinking he'd been unfaithful to me. I feel so stupid. I've been a fool, wasting time sitting here helpless when I could have sent help sooner. No need tormenting yourself of what you could have done different. It will only eat you up from the inside. Believe me, I know. Thank you for telling me. I am truly sorry, Grosta. Farewell.
Mjoll decides to retire for the day as she heads back to Riften, for she knows all too well about grievances, as she is reminded of her own loss. The loss of her own parents and brother. Once back in Riften, Mjoll is able to settle her debts and rent a room for an additional night, as she begins to relax for the evening. But as she enjoys some quiet time to herself, it would soon be short-lived.
Lady Mjoll, it is a pleasure to see you again.
Well, hello, Thane Erin. It's good to see you again, too.
I must say, you've been quite the busy person. From what I understand, you've made many friends out in the Rift today, my lady. Keep that up, and they'll make you their next Thane in no time. Mind if I join you, my lady?
Of course, Thane Erin. I could use some good company. Please, take a seat.
Thank you, my lady. So if I may ask, how was your first day out in the Rift?
I helped where I could. Thinned out a few bandit numbers and cleared out some hostile campsites. I even helped with a missing persons case, but the victim was sadly already deceased. So I informed the family and decided to call it a day. I may not have ended on a good note, but as long as there are citizens in need of help, I will continue to offer what I can.
That's quite a huge task, Lady Mjoll. But there are things that lie beyond our control. And as harsh as the Rift is, you can't help everyone, no matter how badly you want to.
It is an unfortunate fact of life, one that I know all too well, but as long as there is breath in these lungs, I will continue to fight evil, no matter the form it takes.
Stendarr definitely shines bright within you, my lady. Perhaps you and I can team up on a bounty someday.
Perhaps someday, Thane, but for now, I still wish to go at my own pace to get a good experience of the land.
Of course, Lady Mjoll. Whenever you are ready, you just say the word.
And so Mjoll plays it safe for now, as she declines the Thane's invite to travel the Rift together, retiring for the evening as she takes the night to collect her thoughts. And although Mjoll always appears on guard, she does her best to hide the mental exhaustion feeling she encounters from time to time, knowing that she herself even has a limit. But it is a vow that Mjoll made to herself and to her deceased family that keeps her going. And so, Mjoll closes her eyes and prepares for the next day. As the early morning arrives, Mjoll decides to look for a more permanent place to stay while in Riften, as it appears that Helga's bunkhouse has a few open vacancies.
Small and cozy. This will do just fine, my lady. But it appears there are a few items here that may belong to someone else.
Oh, that was the previous tenants. Sad story, that one. She was a working girl at the brothel here and got associated with some pretty bad people. Some big-shot skooma dealer. Anyway, word on the street is that there was an attack on a skooma den and everyone there was killed, including the workers. So she won't be needing it anymore. Consider those items yours.
Such a shame for so many lives to be tossed away like that. The corruption in this land must be catastrophic for individuals to resort to such a dangerous lifestyle. I'll see to it that those remaining items are donated to the temple here.
I couldn't care less. Just pay on time and we'll do fine. Have a nice day.
Mjoll holds her tongue as the landlord leaves her to her own thoughts. She looks upon the bed and wonders about the previous tenant for a small moment, seeing firsthand the effects this city can have on the citizens of the Rift, and the many lives it has already destroyed. And so, Mjoll begins to create a routine of how to combat the corruption of the Rift, as she reviews the bounties on the missive board, wondering if perhaps one of these bounties can link her to the source of the corruption here in the Rift.
One of these could be the one that leads me to the source of immorality and injustice here in this land. I just have to keep looking.
As Mjoll continued to look for the source of corruption here in the Rift, little did she know that the source she was looking for had now taken interest in her.
Is this Nord going to become a problem for me, Aaron?
You've got nothing to worry about, my lady. I have the situation completely under my control.
Under control like you had your housecarl under control? Because last I remember, that did not work out in your favor.
Say the word and I'll use the ring.
You'd love that, wouldn't you? No. We will use the ring as a last resort. Just keep an eye on her for now. Is that understood?
Loud and clear, my lady. Loud and clear.
I'm warning you, Aaron. Don't disappoint me.
I would never do such a thing, my lady. I've got this completely under control.
But as Mjoll completes another bounty, it would appear that she finally finds the clue she has been looking for.
Well, that's all of them. Wait a moment. What do we have here? Is that skooma? I've never seen it read before. This stuff looks dangerous. I wonder if it's being produced here in the Rift? Either way, I need to find the source of its production and shut it down for good.
And so, Mjoll finds her first clue that may be linked to the source of the corruption here in the Rift. A corruption that Mjoll has promised to weed out. But what she may end up finding may only be the beginning of a much darker plot.